And welcome once again to Congregation Kol Ami. We welcome all of our online visitors who are joining us as we celebrate Shabbat, the very last Shabbat of this year. Monday will be Rosh Hashanah, and so we are making that journey together. I am pulling out, as I have been at every event here at Kol Ami this month, my shofar, so that we can be reminded that on Elul, and use the shield, that on Elul, we have the opportunity to prepare ourselves to hear the shofar as a mitzvah. This is not a mitzvah, but it is a kind of kavanah, a kind of spiritual preparation for hearing the shofar in its proper season. So with that, as shofar does, it summons us together to community. And so we're going to take a few moments to review some of the things happening in our community. I can start right off with a list of birthdays among our Kol Amites. Shula Armentor has celebrated her birthday, as has James Hunter, Max Muniz, Deborah Gibson, Victoria Milner, and Sandy Silverly. Anybody here, you have to have a birthday, have a good and blessing, something pleasant happening in your lives that has comforted you, inspired you, brought you joy that you can share with our community. Anybody have anything? No, we're all in the proper, oh, there we go, proper somber, almost to Rosh Hashanah mood. What you got?
My little sister who plays soccer overseas signed a new contract and going back to Israel.
She is going to be playing soccer in Israel, did you say?
Yeah, she's been for a few years, so she'll be she finally decided on a team. So
Oh, wonderful.
She'll be going back next week.
That's great. That's great. Well, very exciting. Anybody else have anything to report? No? I have to say, I'm rather pleased. You know, that she's no longer a member of the congregation, but she was for a long time. Wiener Randall has published her new book, which is The Last Rose of Shanghai, and it's part of my sermon tonight. So I'd like to share with you this in an advanced pitch for at least a former Kol Amite's work. So that was very thrilling to get that in the mail. Nobody else has anything to report at this point? Okay. Well, then we're going to get started with the kindling of Shabbat lights. And I'd like to invite up our exalted former president and current treasurer, Becky Leonard. Kindle the lights. We're going to be in service number 2. That's going to be on page 26. Page 26. Or is it 24? 26. It's 26.
Yeah. Just have to swap. I brought my book up. A different light shines this day, a light pure and bright. Its glow is like that of an angel's. Its brightness fills my heart completely. I shall rejoice and be glad. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner, Shel Shabbat. Praised are you, Holy One of blessing, whose presence fills the world, who hallows us with mitzvot and inspires us to kindle Shabbat lights.
Amen. I'm going to invite you all now to turn back to page 24. Enclosed and hidden, you are a garden, a still pool, a fountain. Stretching your limbs, you open a field of pomegranate blooms, treasured fruit among the blossoms, henna, sweet cane, bark, and saffron, fragrant woods and succulents, the finest spices and perfumes. Living water, you are a fountain, a well, a river flowing from the mountains. And so it is we sit here in our newly gathered before the face of our God, joining together to worship the eternal and to sanctify our own existence. How shall we begin to search, to reach the sacred part of ourselves where rests the essence of all that is good? By stopping, by pausing our concerns for those things which distract us all week long, by welcoming the Sabbath bride, and by opening ourselves to hear the message, oh so silent, carried to us by the small, still voice of God. I'm going to invite you now to, you have a musical piece you wanted to do? Shalom Aleichem. All right. If you turn now to page 27, we're going to be joining together to welcome the angels of Shabbat and, in a sense, to welcome each other.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech Malachei Kamlakim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Oechem LaShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech Malchei Chamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu Nila Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech Malachei Chamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Seithem LaShalom, Ma'el HaShalom, Ma'el Elyon. Mi melech Malchei Chamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Peace to you, ministering angels, messengers of the Most High, the majesty of majesties, the Holy One of blessing. Come in peace. Bless us with peace and go in peace. Elacham libi, husana ve'alna titalem. This would be my heart's desire. In your mercy, do not conceal yourself. Together with Psalm 139. O God, you have searched me and know me well. You understand all my thoughts and every word upon my tongue. Your presence surrounds me. You touch me with your hand. Your presence exceeds my own perception. It is a wonder beyond imagining.
Oxy Kaddish on page 29. Yitgadah v'yitgadah Shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Yamadi Vrach Hirute v'yamlit Mahute. B'chayekon u'byomechon u'chayek kol Beit Yisrael. Bagala, bagala, uvishman kari, v'yemaru amen. Yeheshme Rabba Mevora, le'alam ulal meyonaya, yitbarach, yitbarach v'yishtabach, v'yitpa'ar v'yitroman v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitalei v'yitalal, shmei kudashah b'rihu. Leila min kol birchata v'shirata, Tu shvichata v'nechemata, damin ran b'yama, b'yimaru, amen.
Some of us can rise in body, some of us in spirit. Please rise for the Baruch Hu.
Baruch hu et Adonai Hamorah.
Baruch Adonai Hamorah Le'olam Va'ed. We continue with Psalm 104 in honor of God's creation. Blessed the eternal, O my soul, O eternal God, you are very great. You are clothed in glory and majesty, wrapped in light like a robe. You spread out the heavens like a tent cloth. God sets the rafters of the high places in the waters. God makes the winds to be messengers, fiery flames to serve you. You made the deep cover the earth as a garment, and the waves to stand above mountains. You make springs gush forth in torrents. They make their way between the hills. You water the mountains from your high places. The earth is sated from the fruit of your work. The trees of the eternal drink their fill. The cedars of Lebanon, your own planting, where birds make their nest, while the stork has her home in the junipers. God made the moon to mark the seasons, the sun to know its time of setting. How manifold are your works, O eternal. In wisdom you have made the all. May the glory of the eternal endure forever, and may you rejoice in your works. Blessed the eternal, O my soul. Hallelujah. And as I sing of one God, I rejoice in the wonders of this world, and I pray for a day when all of us shall be as one.
Shema
Yisrael,
Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed.
please be seated. We continue with the Via Ha'ava.
V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'chayu hadvarim ha'eleh asher anochi mitzavecha hayom alevavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibartam v'shivtecha b'veitecha uv'lechtecha v'aderech uv'shachvecha uv'kumecha uv'kshartam la'ot hayadecha v'chayu latotafot b'neinecha u'chtavtam al mitzuzot beitecha u'visharecha L'man titzkaru va'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'yitem kedoshim le'ohehem ani Adonai Elohehem asher hotzeiti echem me'eretz Mitzrayim Liot lachem l'Elohim ani Adonai Elohechem.
The poet Ruth Bryn wrote, "When a Jew speaks a word of prayer in love and in awe, the power of that word gives birth to God's glory. The angels call out to God, 'Who is like unto you?' How great is even a single word of such a prayer. It causes all the angels to sing. All worlds join with the one who serves the eternal. This is the meaning of Micha Mocha, that one who sings a song below can arouse so many songs on high.
Yai dai 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 dai, yada dai dai bim bam. Yai dai 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 dai, yada dai dai bim bam. Yai dai 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 dai, yada dai dai bim bam. Yai dai 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 dai, yada dai dai bim bam. Ni chamocha v'elim Adonai. Ni chamocha nedar b'kodesh. No ratihilot o sefele. No ratihilot o sefele. Yai dai 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 dai, yada dai dai bim bam. Yai dai 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 dai, yada dai dai bim bam. Yai dai 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 dai, yada dai dai bim bam. Yai dai 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 dai, yada dai dai bim bam.
Ashkivenu, a prayer for the coming of evening. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Eternal God, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts. May we lie down in peace and rise up to find our hearts waiting to do your will. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidenu malkeinu l'chaim ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Grant that we should lie down in peace, Adonai our God, and raise us up, O sovereign, to life renewed. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Guide us with your good counsel, and for your namesake, be our help. Baruch atah Adonai hafores sukat shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim. I might imagine God as a teacher or as a friend, but those images like king, master, father, or mother are too small for me now. God is the force of motion and light in the universe. God is the strength of life on our planet. God is the moving power within us to do good. God is the source of love springing up in us. God is far beyond what we can comprehend. I invite you all now to please rise if able for tefillah.
Adonai sechatai tikachu v'yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu Eloheinu. Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, El Hagidol, Hagidol, Hanorah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Rekanei Hakol. V'zocher hasei avot v'imalo, u'mevii gvula lifnei bneihem, leman shemo be'ahava, melech ozer u'mashiach magen, baruch atah Adonai, magen Avraham be'ezras Sarah, atah gibor le'olam Adonai, mechayel ha'olam. Mechakel ani b'chesed, mechayel hakol b'rachamim rabim, tzomech nofli v'rofei olim, u'matir asuri, u'mekayem emunato l'shenei acham. Michamocha, Uni
You may be seated while we continue to celebrate Shabbat with Vishamru on the top of page 36.
Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asod et ha-Shabbat ledoratam barit olam. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asod et ha-Shabbat ledoratam barit olam. B'ni Yuvain, B'ni Yisrael, B'ni Yisrael, Ohid le'olam. Vishamru B'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asod et ha-Shabbat ledoratam barit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim v'et haaretz. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asod et ha-Shabbat ledoratam barit olam. Uvayom hashvi Shabbat vayinapat, Shabbat vayinapat, Shabbat vayinapat. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asod et ha-Shabbat ledoratam barit olam.
We continue with the prayer for acceptance that comes from the Oklahoma State University Siddur. I don't normally expect young people to be this profound, but this is a good prayer. We reach for you, O God, from our quiet places. May we stand still for a brief moment and listen to the rain. Stand still for a brief moment and watch the play of sunlight and shadow on the leaves. For a brief moment, listen to the world. We need a quiet space to test the balance of our days, the weight of our own needs against the heaviness of the world's demands. The balance is precarious. Steady us with faith. Quiet places and stillness, where we will hear our own best impulses speak. Quiet places and stillness, where we will reach out to each other. We will find strength in silence, and with that silence, we will turn again to your service. There are times, O God, when I feel alone, and yet I know in my heart that I am never alone. You are always there waiting for me to speak to you of my desires, fears, hopes, and dreams. Yet how seldom do I reach out to you to voice my gratitude for all that is beautiful in my life, for all the gifts of my life. Love, family, friendship have all come from you. But the greatest gift of all is your presence, which time and again has given me strength, hope, and courage. In the midst of doubt and of confusion, I need to know that you are beside me, not only in the prayer book, but in the depths of my being, my friend, my strength, my God. We're going to close out this part of our service with Shalom Rav, and then we're going to take just a few moments for our own silent prayers and meditations.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav tasim leolam. Ki atahu melech adon, lecho hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon, lecho hashalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha, tasim leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha, tasim leolam. B'tov einecha livarech et Amcha Yisrael. B'chol ledu v'chol shah, b'shlomecha. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha, tasim leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha, tasim leolam. Tasim leolam, tasim leolam. Osei Shalom bin Ramah, Uyaseh Shalom Aleinu, Ve'yakol Yisrael, Ve'imru Amen. Osei Shalom bin Ramah, Uyaseh Shalom Aleinu, V'yakol Yisrael, Ve'imru Amen. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, V'yakol Yisrael. 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 V'imru.
Every year, we build upon the memories of the year before. Some of us are given Jewish memories as children. Others of us have created Jewish memories as adults. And not every Jew is religious. 42% of Israelis claim they are secular. About a third of American Jews claim they are secular. And yet, memory, whether we are religious or secular, whether we are Jews by birth or Jews by choice, is essential to who we are as a people. It binds us to others. It helps us to know to whom we belong. And in Judaism, memory is not passive, it's active. Our memory of the past guides us in our decisions for the future. First and foremost, memory makes us who we are as individuals. We remember our childhood, our teachers, our laughters, our tears, our love, our losses, our mistakes, our moments of success, our moments of embarrassment. Oh, I remember those ones so acutely. Our mitzvot, our actions that made a difference at a certain point. And in the technological era, we are well aware of how actually more important memory is to our lives, personally and professionally. We come to rely more and more on memory crutches. We rely on our cell phones to tell us our relatives' phone numbers and tell us our daily obligations. How many megabytes and gigabytes do our computers have? Do we save our digital photographs? How do I save my 20 years of sermons as a rabbi? Flash drives, hard drives, cold storage, cloud storage. The story is told of two elderly ladies who were enjoying the sunshine on a beach in Miami. And they'd been meeting at that park every sunny day for over 12 years, chatting, enjoying each other's company. And one day, the younger of the two ladies turns to the others and says, "Don't be angry with me, dear, but I'm embarrassed after all these years. What's your name? I'm trying to remember, but I just can't." The older friend stares at her, looking distressed, and says nothing for a couple of minutes. And finally, with tearful eyes, she says, "How soon do you have to know?" When we lose our memory, we lose an essential part of ourselves and our connections. Memory helps us to find our way home, both literally and figuratively. We will gather at this Rosh Hashanah, which is called Yom HaZikaron, the Day of Remembrance, and we will highlight and cherish our individual memories as we commit to crafting the lives that we want to remember as we age, and the lives for which we want to be remembered when we are gone. For as a Jew, it is just as critical to remember not only who we were as individuals, but who we are as a people. Rabbi Jonathan Sachs contrasts the concepts of memory, which is individual, and history, which is collective. History is his story. Memory is my story. History is information. Memory is part of identity. I can study the history of other peoples, cultures, and civilizations. They deepen my knowledge and broaden my horizons, but they do not make a claim on me the way memory does. Memory is the past as present. It lives on in me. Without memory, there cannot be identity. And Judaism is learned and learned because we create memories around Seder tables, around Shabbat tables, at soup kitchens, at summer camp. Judaism is learned through the songs we sing, through the stories we tell, through the smells we experience, maybe matzo ball soup or brisket, through wafting through the air. Judaism is learned while climbing the snake path to Masada and praying at the Western Wall. The word zachor, remember, appears 197 times in the Hebrew Bible. Remember, our Torah tells us, transmit Judaism from one generation to the next by living Judaism. Do not forget. Jewish forgetting is not the dementia that some of us fear when we age. Jewish forgetting is the failure to transmit our stories to the next generation. Many of those memories, many of those stories, are bitter stories. And yet, in retelling them, they provide us with a measure of redemption and comfort. And that's why I'm really sort of pleased at this book. This book is called The Last Rose of Shanghai, and it's by, until recently, a congregant. They just moved, and I have a very powerful, pleasurable memory of working with her on this because she wanted to tell the story of a Chinese woman in occupied Shanghai in the 1940s and her encounter with German Jewish refugees that came to shelter in Shanghai. And so she would come to me occasionally for technical advice. What did Judaism look like in the 1940s versus what it looks like now? And I would research it for her and try and help her out. But more important than that is that this connects me to another precious memory that was someone else's bitter memory. Ernst Heppner, or as I knew him, Ernest Heppner, was a member of my previous congregation in Indianapolis Hebrew. And he wrote the book that she used as the inspiration for writing the Jewish characters in that, because Ernest was himself a young man, German Jewish refugee who found himself in Shanghai. And he published a memoir. He published it just maybe a year or two before I became the assistant rabbi in Indianapolis Hebrew. So he was actively promoting the book when I was there. And we got to know each other. And he told me of the bitter memories, the harsh memories of having to leave Germany and having to go to this strange place where he couldn't find work and he was struggling to thrive with his family in a very difficult situation, though infinitely better than the Jews he left behind. And in this book, and I'm probably up to about chapter 5 right now, she has distilled down many of his memories to tell her own story. And her story as a Chinese American is the memory of Shanghai as a place where the Chinese were occupied and subjugated, first by Western colonialists and then by the Japanese. And what she does is she's telling a story of redemption about a Chinese woman and a Jewish man named Ernest, who come together and are able to thread the needle through this very tragic time. It's a romantic story. I'm not necessarily a romantic kind of guy when it comes to books, but the history is great. And it tells all the players and the complexities of what wartime Shanghai looked like. It captures a very famous character, Victor Sassoon, an Iraqi Jewish entrepreneur who was almost the Lord of Shanghai before the Japanese arrived. I think she's doing a wonderful job with this. And what she's doing is taking bitter memories, that of her own family, that of Ernest Heppner and the Jews who found themselves stranded in Shanghai, and she is crafting a redemptive tale out of it. So I'm really enjoying this. I'm very proud that I had a very small part in contributing to this. I think she's doing a marvelous job. And I look forward to maybe having some time in the year ahead, being able to invite her back. We can do a book club or something like this. It's really, really very exciting. And it reminds us that Jewish memory is not just something of the past. Jewish memory continues to compel us, continues to engage us, and we reuse our memories, not just great, wonderful memories, but very sad memories to construct what we want the future to look like. And she gives us a picture of a world torn by race and world war and violence and exploitation, and how maybe we can, as individuals with other people, hand in hand, build something better in the midst of all of that. And that's beautiful. You know, Stephen Carter, a law professor at Yale, tells the story of the painful move he experienced when his family, who's African American, decided to move into a white neighborhood in Washington, D.C. Sitting on the front steps of his new home with his brothers and sisters, he said, "We just waited for someone to say hello to us and welcome us, but no one did. And we knew we were not welcome there. I knew we would not be liked. I knew we would have no friends. But then one person, a religious Jew, turned his anxiety to ease. She arrived home from work and said, 'Welcome,' with a booming, confident voice, went into our house and emerged later with a huge tray of cream cheese and jelly sandwiches, which she carried to the porch and offered to the children with a ready smile. Carter wrote, "We were strangers, African-American strangers, and she went out of her way to make us feel welcome." This woman's name was Sarah Kessenbaum, and she managed in the course of a single day to turn us from strangers to friends. To this day, I can close my eyes and feel on my tongue the smooth, slick sweetness of cream cheese and jelly sandwiches that I gobbled that Sunday afternoon. And I discovered that a single act of unassuming kindness can change a life forever. That springs from Egypt. That springs from the bitterness of our own experiences, making the life of other people sweet. So this year, I hope we can learn about flight and refuge, about defeat and consolation, and how to comfort one another through our smiles, through our outreached hands, through our words, our hearts, our love, through our memories of who we are and where we've been. Every time we tell stories about our own past, about our loved ones who have died, we strengthen our memory in them. Every time we celebrate Shabbat and holidays with guests, we strengthen the Jewish memory of every person at the table. Every time we journey together to Shanghai, we remember Egypt. Each time we read Torah, our history becomes our memory. It becomes part of us. Like soldiers, it is never too late to create new memories. It is never too late to create better memories. It is never too late to create Jewish memories. Remember your personal past. It is who you are. Remember our people's past. It is to whom you belong. And remember your call. Our memory tells us who you are meant to be. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. So it is time now for our announcements, and our officer tonight is, the Lord of Death. I mean, the man in charge of the Jewish cemetery. Here we go. Come on up, Samson. He likes that title, actually.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom.
Announcements. High Holy Day online viewing. If you are planning on viewing online, please be sure to set up your registration link prior to Monday. Bob will be running the broadcast and unable to help once the services get started. If you have any issues prior to then, you can email him at office@kolami-tx.org for help. Office closures. In observance of Rosh Hashanah, the CKA offices will be closed Monday and Tuesday, September 6th and 7th. We will open back up as normal on Wednesday, September 8th. We will also be closed all day Thursday, September 16th in observance of Yom Kippur. We will be open on Friday, September 17th, and will hold services that evening. The annual CKA Potluck Sukkot Dinner. Sisterhood would like to invite the whole congregation to their annual CKA Potluck Sukkot Dinner outside under the Sukkah on at CKA on Sunday, September 19th from 5:30 to 7 p.m. We are asking everyone to bring a dairy dish. Sisterhood will provide drinks and paper products, plates, napkins, cups, forks, knives, etc. If your dish needs to be hot, please bring it hot. There will not be time to warm it up. Join us as we shake the etrog and lulav. We will also have a surprise activity. We hope you make plans to join us. Jewish Family Services Food Drive. The annual High Holy Days food drive for the JFS Pantry will begin August 20th and run through September 16th. All donations need to be delivered to JFS by September 20th. Paper grocery bags with information flyers will be at the shul for pickup starting on August 20th. For more information, please contact the VP of Tikkun Olam, Melissa Trapani. And as always, you can find all specific details for these announcements and anything else you might need on the congregation website. At Congregation Kol Ami, we want to take time to recognize those who may be in need of extra blessings due to not feeling well or other reasons. So I'm going to ask, is there anybody that want to add names to the Misha Beirach list?
Mary Catherine, Earl Paxton, Leroy Jonah, Andrew Schmidt.
May the ones who bless our ancestors also bless Harry Anthony, Natalie Bovino, Maxine Collins, Sandy Cook, Dave Cook, Jerry Dietz, Pat Ducar, Gordon Ellison, Tammy Ferris, Debbie Freed, Michelle Griffith, Ken Hirschman, Jody Hoffman, Deb Kaufman, Dwight Kirkwood, Lauren Koenig, Alex Koenig, Sandy Lesner, Karen Moore, Ken Cowell, Gavin Olds, Herbert Paley, Joshua R. Holcomb, Paul Redwood Jr., Sandy Garber Rubin, Adrian Sandler, Maya Schusler, Mark Tepperman, and Michael Ullman. Mishebera Havotenu Bekor Abraham Imotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishebera imotenu Mikor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start drawing our service to a conclusion. I'm going to invite you to turn to page 82. Page 82 for the Aleinu. I'm going to grab Don Dawsey. Don has been changing light bulbs so diligently around the place and just doing this little thing and that little thing and trying to improve the place. We want to honor him. So come on up, Don, join me up here at the Ark. Everyone please rise. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'ten gidula yoser breishi, shelo asanu k'boye haraso, v'lo samanu k'mishpachol ha'adamah, shelo sam chelkinu kahem, v'gor aleinu k'chol Umishtachavim umodim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu shehu notei shamayim v'yoser haaretz u'moshav yikaro b'shamayim ima'ah ushkinatu zo V'gol hei meroni, Hu Eloheinu eino, Emet malkeinu efesu ato, Hakatu v'torato, Yedata hayom v'hashevota el haver. Ki Adonai hu Elohim, b'shamayim nimah, v'haaretz mitachat re'o. Bayom hahu Yeh Adonai Echad, Ushemo, Ushemo, Ushemo Echad. Our lives, O God, are in your hands, and in you we trust. Whatever may be our destiny, we know that you will be there. Though we may not fathom the mysteries of life and death, we know that your gift of life to us, which each of us has treasured. No matter the final end, let us rejoice in the sweetness of the past and in our faith in the life to come. There will we find you, your love and your blessing. And so it is, we recall with gratitude the names of those whom we've lost, whether it be recently, as well as those whose anniversaries of death occur this week. I have no one listed for Shiva, no one who's passed away in our immediate community in the last 7 days. Does anybody have a name to add? Likewise, we have no reports from our community of anybody passing away for Shloshim in the last month. Again, is there anybody close to you that you've lost in the last 30 days? This week at this congregation, we want to honor these individuals who are close to our congregant members for their yard sites, their anniversary of death. Adam Cohen, William Crandall, Andy Feiner, Morris Krause, Patricia Kurjan, Verna Lefebvre, Mulka Lichtman, Dory Jean Sand, and Matthew Fox Weisbar. Is there anyone else who knows of a yard site, please? Thank you. The memory of all these people are with us now. For those who remember them directly, we hope that their memory grows sweet with the passing years. We, on the other hand, would like to show our support and our compassion and sympathy by rising together to recite Kaddish on page 85. Page 85. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah ve'alma divrach yerutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon v'yomechon uv'chayei dekol beit Yisrael bagalal u'izman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabba mevorach le'elam u'lameh amaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei d'kudsha b'rechu. Ve'ela min kol bircha v'shirata tush b'chata v'nechemata yuran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba mim shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Osei shalom b'mromav hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the source of peace and peace to all who mourn and comfort the bereaved among us. And let us say, amen. Please be seated. And you told me what the closing song was, but
Page 3, Yismahu Hashemayim.
Page 3 from the Psalms, Yismachu Hashemayim, let the heavens rejoice and the earth celebrate.
Yismahu Hashemayim.
Hashemayim,
Yismahu Hashemayim.
Hashemayim,
Yismahu Hashemayim. V'tagel haaretz. Yismahu Hashemayim.
Hashemayim,
Yismahu Hashemayim.
Hashemayim,
Yismahu Hashemayim. V'tagel haaretz. Yirachayam. Yirachayam. Yirachayam Elo. Yirachayam. Yirachayam. Yirachayam Elo. Yismichu Hashamayim. Hashamayim. Yismichu Hashamayim. Hashamayim. Yismichu Hashamayim. V'tagel haaretz.
All right, then. Now it is time for Kiddush. And Dr. Nikki, would you lead us in Kiddush? I will even turn the cup over to you.
All right.
All right,
Just
page
find it.
86.
Feels really good to have this. down.
Yeah, no, I
It's hard to
understand, believe me.
read. Okay. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pari hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho v'chabad uvratzon hinhilanu zikaron l'maaseh bereshit ki hu yom tehila lamikra'e kodesh zecher litziyat mitzrayim ki banu becharta Yotanu kidashta mekoamin l'shabbat kodshecha be'ahavat uvratzon hinchatanu Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. Amen. L'chaim.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And thank you for helping us out with musical leadership. And, ooh, raisins. All right, so, Miss Casey makes us our challah every week, and we missed them for a long time. I was just sort of making them up as I went along during that time, but we're glad to have them back. But now we have extra raisins, I assume symbolic of the sweetness of the new year. So, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in blessing for the motzi. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Shabbat shalom, everybody. There are individually packed snacks out there in the hallway.